As always, we're going to get started in a pre-market. Okay. And as if there's nothing here. Okay. So today, the pre-market lines didn't really act as much of anything important. We kind of quickly broke out of the range of the pre-market levels and made our move down to kind of this area right here. So in that case, I did chart some levels from Friday, to help me feel where I might want to be taking profits here. Okay. However, I did not know that before the day started, so of course I had some levels. Okay. So these were my pre-market levels. I had a level right here. Right here. So if these were my pre-market levels today. All right, I had that like that. All right. I thought these were the most important lines that occurred in pre-market that we could play off of. And if I did see a move break here and a retest, I would have been possibly playing from these lines to these lines to this line. Okay. However, we did break out of this range pretty quick. Right back down. And then we continue down all day. Okay. I also did, when I saw that we were moving down, I did chart some of aftermarket. Okay, I usually don't do this, but when there is a need for that, that's what I do. Okay, I see we have a good support level right here. Okay, and we have some resistance right here in that channel. I would be looking to scale here on that move down if it does occur. Okay, so when I do see we're breaking out, there's no real levels for me to play off of here, so I'm automatically thinking, what levels do I want to play off of? Now, if you go look into yesterday's day, you do notice that this was actually a level of support, and this was a level of resistance. Okay, so this level right here, that level of resistance, is going to be a level I would like to scale if we break this blue level. Okay, from this blue level to here, we kind of have, in the most recent time we played the chart, a pretty clean chart. A move here, and most likely, if we break this level, we will most likely make it to here. That's what I'm assuming. Okay, I'm taking profits, here, if for some reason I'm going to trade. Okay, so let's start playing the chart. Now, this is what I'm thinking when this chart happens. We open, and our first candle starts up. We reject that resistance right here, and we start moving down. This automatically signals to me that in one candle at open, we had buyers trying to push us up, but no, sellers won with a big wick on the top, driving the price down. That suggests to me that we are probably going to short term, momentarily move down. Okay, so we break now. Okay, this happened. This looks quick, but if you were watching this live, this right here was a pretty nice patient pot shot setup. Okay, I'd say that I don't like one candle, but if we get two candles or more, I usually like to see more. Again, this wasn't an A+ setup, but it was there. Okay, we had a support, we broke, we have some good volume at open. Okay, we come up, we retest on these two candles. I would have probably entered on this candle right here. Okay, once I saw this candle was trying to come up here and retest there, I would get it. I would set my stop just a bit above this level. Okay, somewhere around those wicks, those bodies that found some support. Okay, if I'm looking to play a little more risky, it would be that support level with all these candles and that right there. Okay, if we would have closed above that, I would have gone out of my trade. So I got in here. I'm going to mark that as the first trade of the day. Okay, at this point, I have also charted a level for myself. Okay, we have a resistance right here, right at open, and I'm looking to see how that might play out right here. Okay, now if I entered this trade right here, I'm going to scale some on this candle through these wicks. Okay, because if I got an entry here and I'm already scaling right here, you know, that's still a solid 25-cent scale right there. Okay? I got my entry exactly on my line. I didn't get the entry right here or, you know, right here. I got it on the line when the price reached there, and I scaled some here because I don't know what's going to happen. Now, my target is this because I don't have any pre-market levels to play off of, so I go into aftermarket and I'm like, okay, it looks like we found some resistance here 1, 2, 3 times right before pre-market. All right. It looks like this was a major resistance. And what do we know about resistance? Old resistance becomes new support. So I'm looking to scale some right here. Okay. So I'll be scaling on that wick into strength while it's dropping. Okay. Now, if you did read the updated version of my PDF, the one that I released, if you guys got it the first release, I didn't have it in the second, I did add it, like my flag plays, okay? Here, right here at open, we had a pretty solid flag play, okay? The way I play it is, you know, I see we have a significant trend right here on the 1 minute chart with a candle, okay? Or not a significant trend, a micro trend, okay? We're moving like this, okay? We have a very short-term level of resistance or support that just happened, okay? This right here would not qualify for a breakout trade because this support is not really here. It's just a resistance, and it happened a long time ago. I want to see something that happened, you know, really short term that I can trust my instincts more, okay? Now, the way I trade this, okay, is I chart my level, my trend line on the candles, okay? And if I see we're rejecting that resistance, instead of taking it on the resistance, just because it's resistance, I don't do that. I wait to see, will this micro trend break? And on the break, I'm going to take puts. Okay, same thing would be for calls. But I'm not just taking the break because it's there. I'm taking it because it's rejecting a resistance that just occurred. Okay? So, you know, this is just another setup that I take. I take these setups with less size. The trades that I take with most size are my patient pot shot setups because I find that they work most often and I'm just better with them overall, okay? I'm still a developing trader, so you know, there are certain scenarios where I like to take bigger positions because I'm more comfortable with those setups. This is one of those setups that I take less often, but you know, it's still part of my toolbook. Okay, if I do take this trade off the break, okay, my stop loss on this trade would be a close above back in this trend line. Okay, so if I take it probably around in the middle of this level, my stop would be somewhere like there. Okay. So, you know, at this point, you should not have been entering anything else. Okay. You know, it's two solid entries. This one's solid. This one's solid. There's no reason to be entering calls or anything else, or, you know, puts right here. You know, yeah. Now, this trade right here for puts, it's not a great entry for puts because just not too long ago we broke through that level with that. Okay, this would be a good setup for puts because we just had a resistance there. Okay, this setup, we actually broke it one side, now we broke it to the other side. Okay, so this isn't a great setup. Now, at this point, what am I looking at? I'm like, okay, we have this level of support. Can we get up to it? Can we retest it for puts? Never happens. I'm not taking an entry. Okay, and we're chopping around. I mark my next level. Okay, mark this level right here. So, now this right here qualifies as another solid flag play. Okay, we have this trend line right here happening along these candles. They keep on printing up and up and up, rejecting that area. We're rejecting right here. Now look, you know, every time this happens, we have a big wick right here. Okay, we start to chop around. We have this level of resistance. We break it, and that would be a solid put entry. Okay. All right, we break that trend line, pretty solid entry. Again, this is not an A+ setup. Now, This right here, okay, I probably would not get my entry for puts right here because our support level is at 83. We hit 15. That's 8 cents. Okay, I usually enter within 5 cents. We only we came within 8 cents. I would never get this entry myself. Okay, I think when I'm doing that, I'm skewing my risk to reward, because if I get an entry 8 cents off my level, okay, then my stop loss, if it's here like it should be, then I already have too big of a stop, okay, for my trading style. All right. Okay. Now this right here, awesome patient pot shot setup. Awesome patient pot shot setup. All right. Now, some people ask me, why don't I put my line right here? Okay. Now, originally when this was charting, I did put my level right here. We had a bigger reversal here than we did here. Okay. However, when I noticed that we created a larger level of support right here, okay, paired up with that level, what I did was I moved this level to right there, okay? Why did I do that? Because this level rejected as support twice, while this one rejected as support only once, okay? I'm adjusting my levels as the day goes on to what information will be useful for me. So we break through, okay? Then we come up, we retest that level, and I take my put entry there, and I have a very solid trade down, okay? I have my first level of scaling is this resistance, because old resistance becomes new support, so I scale on this candle, okay? Now, my stop loss is above here. There's no reason for me to get out, okay? After I see this, happening, I already have a trend line here as well to help me have conviction. I'm staying in this entire thing. This is a perfect setup. We break. My target for 80% of my position is low of day, this massive support level. Okay, pair it up with this wick, all right? So I scale into this candle, and at this point, I'm only holding runners, all right? Awesome setup right here. Again, why did I not take it right here? I did not take it right here because this level was just support. It was just support right here, and it was support here. This level, okay, we did not have support here. So I'm looking at the most relevant, the most recent information, okay? All right, this would be in, a multi-bagger on your runners. All right, awesome setup. All right, this right here is another awesome setup right here, okay? We have a support at the bodies. Again, this is why I draw my levels at the bodies. If I were to draw my support right there, it's not really rejecting that area, okay? I draw it at the bodies right there. We break through. We come up. We retest. It can't be simpler than this, okay? Break, my stop loss is right above. And we're rejecting. At this point, I also saw that we have that trend line. I was entering with this trend line and this as well as extra conviction. I was entering off that level, so my stop was a break and probably above these wicks right here and hold above here. But I entered off that support being broken, retested for a move down. Now, where am I scaling? Okay. Where am I scaling? Where do I see from here the closest level of support? I see right here, okay? I'm scaling on this candle. Now, where am I scaling the next big portion of my position? We have a level of support right here with these candles, all right? And this right here. So I'm scaling some on this massive wick down. This to here is a very solid trade, okay? Very solid trade. Now, okay? Okay, so at this point I've scaled, all right, and here is where I could use the 9 EMA, okay, all right. I see we're under the 9 EMA right here, under that candle. This candle closes above the 9 EMA. I might want to get out of my runners. Okay? However, I have scaled probably 50 to 70% of my position at this point. All right? So if I get out right here, I'm still in profit on my runners that I get out of, and I already scaled 50% of my position. All right? My target is low of day. At this point, I've scaled 50% of my position. All right? But my target is here. Even if you get stopped on this candle, you're playing, riskier. And you're all out right here. You're still in profit on this. Okay? Because your stop right here is very small. And your profit right here is bigger than that stop. This right here, another awesome setup. Okay? So this, and then this right here. All right? We break through with a candle that has that much volume. On the retest candle, we have this much volume. Okay? See, less volume. All right? We break that momentary resistance that we just had. This is a resistance. We keep on wicking off. We break. We come down. We retest that area. And we move up. Now, people look at this and they're like, this wasn't a solid trade. This was a very solid trade. Okay? If you scaled right here at that level of resistance that we had, okay, or right here, there was a lot of chop, so I would be probably scaling at this wick right here, okay, if I entered here. Now, from here to here, all right, we have what? So that's, 35 cents around. 35 cents is a solid move for the first part of your position, okay? Zero stress. These cons would have been spiked. You enter right on that line. All right. And in 2 minutes, you would be up, on your contracts, a 35-cent move. Okay. I don't know exactly how much that would be on your contracts, but it happened quick. Your cons would be spiked. That's the beauty of trading options. Okay. You would have scaled into strength on this candle, and that would have been a solid trade. Okay. Now, I'm being honest with you. When I saw that this candle was being pulled back like this, we were forming a tweezer top, sort of, I would have probably exited all of my runners here. This looks very bearish. We have a lot of resistance here. I know that even if we do make it higher, it's going to be tough to make it higher because we have all these resistances here. Okay? So I would probably have gone out of this trade on this candle, all right, on my runners. But either way, very solid trade right here. All right. What was I going to talk about? Yeah. So, this right here is another solid trade. It's a losing trade, but it's there. Okay. Calls right here. We have a resistance. We break. We retest. All right. I think it's a solid entry. All right. However, if you're entering all these other trades before that, don't try to overtrade. By not overtrading, you're actually minimizing the chance of the randomness of getting a trade that doesn't work. So if you only take a couple of the trades, you're actually more likely to take the better trades. All right? If you try to overtrade and take every single setup, like every single one, you're more likely to overtrade and more likely to lose on certain ones than not. Okay? So by taking every setup, if you took 2 trades here already, why try to look for that extra setup? Okay? This is a good setup. I'm not going to dismiss that. But if you already took two of these trades, just relax. Okay? If you took this trade, relax. Okay? Even if you want to take small gains, if you took this entry in the morning and you want to relax for the rest of the day, just go and do it. All right? Don't try to trade the entire day taking all of these setups all the time. Okay? All right? And I am missing a couple of entries, going through this quick. And again, if I was watching it live, it would be a little easier to see exactly what I'm looking at. But, I'm pointing out the most important ones. I also do notice right now that we do have a trend line right here. After these first 2 rejections, you could have been taking calls off here for a scalp. Scaling into that resistance. So all these trades, they're happening all the time if you have that patience to wait for them. Okay. We break down here, and yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Now, like for example, why would I not be taking, puts off of this off this support right here? Look at this massive volume right here on that candle. Massive volume. The candle that brought us down has little volume. Okay. So volume is important. I highly suggest you look at the volume when you're trading. So at this point we're chopping around. I noticed that there are setups here as you go through. If you just look at these levels, we have a resistance, we break through, we retest. Pretty solid call entry right here. Okay. There are definitely certain setups. This right here is a nasty setup. Awesome setup. Okay. All right. We break through, we retest that level, we go down. Okay. Why would I assume that we are more likely to retest this support than this support? Okay. Because first of all, there are two reasons. If you look at this had two major rejections from it. We had one rejection happen here and another rejection happen here. I wouldn't even call this a rejection because we actually came down. I mean a bounce, sorry, rejection for puts. We had a bounce here, but I wouldn't even call this a bounce because we continued lower and we actually bounced off this level. We had really only one major bounce. On this level, we had 1, 2, 3 major bounces in this range. On top of that, this support was before this one. I'm looking at the most recent information, and that's logical because if buyers were here 10 minutes ago, they're more likely to be there 10 minutes later than buyers that were here 30 minutes ago. Okay? Because those buyers are more likely to have left the charts, stopped trading, or stopped putting their volume into the market. Okay? So, when I'm looking to see old support turn into resistance, I'm thinking which level is more likely for that to happen. Okay? Solid entry, that double top, my stop would be right above. Okay? Solid trade. Now, if I take puts here, I'm scaling some at that support. That was also support right here. All right? Now, this trade, you could have taken it all the way down here. Okay? And you could have had a solid trade. Okay. Now, this right here, we break through, we retest right here. I mean, we come up right here. I would have never gotten this entry. Okay. We are, almost 10 cents away from here. That skews my risk to reward. This is a simple pullback. No level for me to play off of here. Okay. I'm not getting into puts here. I trade the body. All right. That is the way I go about my trading because that gives me a level that I think works more times than not for me to get my stop from. Okay. If you play the wick, that's okay as long as you get out when it breaks the wick. But I suggest playing the body because you will get stopped out less if you're playing the body. That's the whole idea. Okay. We had two bodies around this area, and your lines don't have to be exact. Right about there, I'm not getting an entry. I'm paying attention to this, but I'm not getting an entry. Okay? I'm not trying to enter everything. Just because we're pulling back does not mean we are going to continue down here. Okay? This would have been a good trade. You would have scaled at that support, and then you could have held this. You could have held this as long as you want. You could have held this. You could have taken profits, and then you could have said, all right, I'm going to get out if we get above this red line back into here, indicating we are getting bought back up into this zone. All right? You could have stayed into this trade quite a bit, okay? All right? If you wanted to, I'm not going to go ahead and do that right now, but you could have checked the last time we were around this area, which was quite a long time ago. And you could have charted some support and resistance lines, okay? All right. Another solid entry right here. Okay, and I'm just gonna quickly chart all the levels that I had when I was doing this. Okay. All right. I had a level here. Of course, I had a level here. I had a level here. Okay. So look at this. We break right here. We reject off here, and look, we're breaking. We have that momentary support. We take puts right there. Okay. Very solid entry. We had more volume on the candle that took us down than on the candle that came up. Okay. Very nice entry right here for the move down. You would have scaled at that support. Okay. It's happening all the time. All right. Now, this right here, it's an okay setup for calls right here. Okay. You would have gone stopped out. So I'm just showing all the ones that I see. This right here, pretty solid setup off that resistance. However, again, the best setup right here from all this move down was right here. If you did not catch this move, you are kind of forcing trades down here. The move happened, and we're kind of chopping around here. You're more likely to get stopped out. Taking the things that are more likely to happen, the better risk to reward setups will always yield you better results. Because this is the beginning of the move. You have a clear level. You're taking it off that, okay? Here, we already started chopping around. We are technically in a seller's area, all right? So to be honest, if I was playing A+, I would want to see us break above this level of resistance for an entry for calls, if I was even thinking about calls. All here, I'm not really even looking at calls, okay? Because below this level, or even below this level, we're kind of in an area of selling. We just rejected that. We have resistance here. This is a seller's area. So that's what I'm paying attention to, okay? This right here would be a setup that I actually would take more likely, okay? We had lots of volume on the move up. We had a candle come down, retest, very clear. That's a setup that just didn't work, okay? This setup, I don't know if I would have taken it. It's kind of a mediocre resistance. But this, we have a clear resistance, and we even have a support right here, and it just didn't work, okay? So these two setups, if you did take them, it just didn't work, okay? This right here, just, an awesome setup. We break through, we retest, and yeah, very solid entry. Now, would I get stopped out on this trade? Okay. So the way I would think about this is I got my entry right here, okay, and I'd set my stop at a close above this wick, okay. This would be a trade I would probably get stopped out on. Depending on how I would be looking at the market, I did not watch this live, but I do assume that we probably, when the moment this candle closed, this candle opened momentarily with lightning speed and went down like a bullet, okay? When that happens, I would have stayed in the trade. If I saw some hesitation here up and down like this, all right, for some time, I would have gotten out, okay? We closed so close to my stop loss this wick that I would have probably wanted to see how the next candle opens and how fast it is, okay? But again, this is not a great trade in terms of how it turned out, okay? It's a good setup, but it didn't turn out great. You either got stopped for a little loss or you made a little bit of profit on this move down. However, you guys have to understand the bigger picture. We made a massive move down, so you are expecting more consolidation. So any setup that you take, the more the moves goes down, the more likely that setup is to fail. Okay, because the good setups were this, okay, and this. All right, we already made that move down. There were two good entries to catch that move down. And here, it's already a consolidation zone. All right, we moved down like $2. That's a big move. We need some consolidation. So you're more likely to get stopped, more likely to get faked out, okay? At this point, the market's chopping. It's end of day. I'm not even looking at anything here, okay? And that, I think, brings us right into close. Yep. So, yeah, that kind of wraps up the day for me. All right, there were opportunities today. I know I might have missed some. If you guys want to, speak up and talk about some setup that you did take, I know I kind of breezed over a couple of setups, probably not seeing them right now. But again, those are my favorite setups that I just marked that happened today. Okay, today was a day where I think it was actually unexpected that we had some pretty clean price action for my style. Okay, again, all of this is you know, significantly worse than how the market usually is during a solid bullish market, okay? To be honest with you guys. So if you are finding frustration, just trust me. I didn't trade much when the market was all bullish and everything back in 2020 and stuff. But I was, in order for me to see the success, I did a lot of studying of old charts, okay? And I can tell you that there are much better setups that happen when the market is following a normal, bullish, slow move up. The market is not in crazy conditions like it is right now. The last 2 weeks, right here before, these weeks are historically known to be choppy. Today was a great day in those conditions, and I think that a lot of people were able to capitalize. I found it to be a good day. Yeah, that kind of wraps it for me. If you guys have any questions, let me know now. But, yep, that is it for me.